Welcome back, Trojans, to another Coach's Corner broadcast. I am your host, Maddie Kaplan. Up this week, we'll be talking with the football and volleyball team, covering the recap of Egg Bowl and the Doan Triangular. So let's hear from our coaches. Hey, Trojan fans, we are back with Amy Veenhof, the head volleyball coach here at Dakota State University. We're going to be recapping some events from this past weekend down at the Doan Triangular, where the Trojans came out 1-1, beating Doan University and then falling short in a tough fifth set match against Mid America Nazarene. Coach, your team played Doan University first, and they won the first, second, and fourth set, ultimately securing the game. Now, the third set was a little bit of a
Mm.
challenge for the Trojans, kind of coming out with a score of 25-10. What was falling apart for your team in that third set, and what ultimately were you guys able to bring back to win that match?
Sure. Everything fell apart in that third set. It was just, in volleyball, it's such a momentum game, I think. And for some reason in that third set, if we had one error, it turned into two and then three and then four, and we just couldn't, stop erring. It was all stuff that we were doing on our side of the net that we just had a hard time getting out of. When it rains, it pours. And I felt like that's kind of what was happening in that third set. There was just nothing we could really do. And so it was kind of hurry up and get this one over with, honestly, so that we can, start fresh in the fourth set. And then they came out strong in the fourth set, and we didn't have, the same thing happen where it was one error led to another error, led to another error, and so on. They were able to figure out, okay, shake that one off, next ball, and did a much better job in that set. And so I don't know. It's one of those weird things, we can come out and beat a team 25-10, and then the next set, they beat us 25-10. And volleyball is just a sport that it's really tough to be consistent and to not let mistakes build on themselves. And it can happen pretty quick. And we struggled with that on Saturday. So
For sure, for sure. Now, the next match was against Mid America Nazarene. This was a very tough match for your team, going all the way to the fifth set. It was an amazing match to watch, ultimately, with us falling a little short in the end. But what were some things that your team did well in that match?
yeah, they have two really good outside hitters. In America did, and for the most part, we did a good job of kind of containing their really good outside hitter number 10. Um, we went after her a lot when we were serving and just tried to wear her down, which I think the girls we did a good job of that. She had quite a few receiving errors, and we were able to be successful and take her out of their offense a little bit more. So she's still just a really good player and ended up hitting decent for them. But that was one of the things I think that the girls did really well with. We did was, go after that one, key player for them and try to wear her down. And we did that a little bit. Struggling wise, we just weren't consistent with our offense. That was probably the biggest thing. They'd get some blocks on us, and then it was like we kind of panicked a little bit, and it's like, oh no, and then we'd have an error, and kind of the same thing with the Doan third set where we had an error and then we'd get down and we wouldn't be able to get out of it as quick as we have before, recovered from mistakes. So that was kind of the thing that we struggled with probably the most, but it was a lot of fun. It was a good match. Couple really close sets and just exciting volleyball. They have some really nice players. We had some really nice players, and it was a battle all the way through. So it was a fun match.
For sure. It was certainly fun to watch. The Trojans will be traveling to Sioux City, Iowa for their next matchup on September 2nd and 3rd at the Labor Day Classic. Coach, what are some things your team will be working on this week to prepare for that upcoming tournament?
Sure. We see three ranked opponents at Sioux City this weekend. Friday we play Northwestern and Dort, who are both ranked top 25, and then we start off with Concordia on Saturday, and they're also ranked. And then we finish up with Hastings, who isn't ranked but in the GPAC and is a tough team as well. So, what do you do to prepare for that? It's nice that we've got some matches in already, and have played and got some matches under our belt. That'll help, I think, just so that that's not what we're starting with. Just having the games in that we have will really be beneficial for us, I think. And then just, kind of cleaning up things this week in practice with our offense. When we're in system and we're pretty effective on offense and have pretty high hitting percentages. When we're out of system, we kind of tend to struggle to kill the ball and side out. So just kind of working on our serve and pass game, and then also being more effective out of system. Using the block. I had said sometimes our hitters, they get in their head a little bit if they get blocked once in a while. So just trying to work on using the blockers more effectively, and then just on our cover as well are going to be some things that we're working on this week to prepare to play these tough teams.
For sure, for sure. Well, it'll be great to have your team closer this next tournament, Coach. Definitely a lot less traveling for your team for sure. And we are wishing you the best of luck here at this next tournament. And we'll be excited to hear from you next week.
Thanks, Maddie.
Awesome. Have a great one. All right, Trojan fans, we are back with Coach Anderson, the head football coach here at Dakota State University. And we're going to be covering Egg Bowl events from this last week, where the Trojans kicked off their first game of the season on Thursday at the 7th annual Egg Bowl event. The Trojans played the Dakota Wesleyan Tigers in the matchup, ultimately winning that game 29-19. Now, there were a lot of great moments, Coach, for your team, one of them being a touchdown in the first play of the game. What was going through your head after seeing that happen that early in the game?
Well, it took me a while to put that play together. I had gone through about 3 different first down plays that we were going to run, but I really wanted to have the opportunity to score on that first play. So ended up sticking with an empty set and shifting out to it. It ended up actually the first play ended up being a penalty for a delayed game, but it did help me out because I got to see the coverage they were in, and it was exactly what I wanted. So we just ended up running the same play again anyway. And I knew if we had time to protect our quarterback, we were going to get that thing off, and Tice was going to put that in the end zone because he's just electric with the ball in his hands and he's fast. And so it ended up working out, even with the delayed game. Not ideal, but again, got to see the coverage I wanted to see and made sure it was correct. And so I knew it was going to be a big play.
That's awesome. Now, settling a little bit further into the game, kind of around the second quarter, where there were still some great things going on. What were some things at that point in the game that you were happy to see that translated from your preseason?
Well, we were doing a good job with just the basics, being where we needed to be. Guys were running the right routes. We were picking up the protections and the blitzes we expected, and we were getting a lot of good first downs in that first half, and keeping good drives going. And even if we stalled out, we were able to flip the field because we had good field position. And then being able to punt, we were able to help our defense out by pinning them a little bit deeper. We got a really good punter kicker again this year with Noah Karwaki, and so really have good faith in him. So the biggest thing is just making sure we don't turn the ball over offensively. And then defensively, I was very pleased. They were on point in that first half. Like I said, they got a lot of good rest because the offense was doing a good job of getting first downs and sustaining drives. And so it helped those guys to stay fresh, and they were able to get themselves off the field in good timing as well in that first half.
For sure, for sure. Now we're going to skip a little bit ahead. We know the outcome of the game. We know that you guys won, and we know that you guys are definitely happy with that outcome. But after that game and having a little bit of time to think about it now, what are some things you are looking to tighten up performance wise before you guys are back in action?
Well, in the first half offensively, we did a tremendous job of third down conversions. I think we were 7 of 8. Only didn't get one of them, and it was because we just threw the ball just a little bit over our head, and the sun was in our eyes, and so it just made it difficult. Almost perfect situation there. But in the second half, we were incredibly sloppy. Just the opposite. I think we had 1 first down out of 8 tries, and so we've got to stay consistent. That's the key thing to having success is keeping opposing offenses off the field. Getting those first downs, obviously first downs lead to points or at least good field position, as well as keeping our defense rested. And so those are some of the things that we got to make sure we take care of. We had a really good game plan for the second half. We just really weren't able to execute it. It was kind of weird every time we got into 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2 all the time, and I just wanted to run the ball and keep the clock running, and we just weren't able to punch it in for just a first down, a short first down, which was frustrating to me and confusing because we were able to do that so easily in the first half. So being able to stay consistent throughout the whole game. Special teams wise, we were really sharp. We did get a field goal, a PAT blocked on us, but that was just because we were in 2-point stances rather than 3. That was an easy fix. And then special teams ended up winning the game for us, which we were preaching about the entire fall camp. Ended up working out that way, especially in first games. It ends up being crucial. And so those were huge things. Defensively, we had a big goal line stand when we needed it the most, and they did a fantastic job of just shutting down their key plays and the key situations and staying disciplined against a really good offense of Dakota Wesleyan. So very well pleased with all 3 phases of the game. We had to help each other out. And by all 3 phases, I mean the offense, defense, and special teams. Everyone stood up. Everyone took the turn of taking care of business when we needed them to do it the most.
For sure, for sure. Now, we had some great performances from athletes. Just to name one was Tamarian Foster, who just recently was named NSAA Player of the Week. What keys did he play in helping the team win in this past game, and how is he feeling after that first game?
Well, he was a true freshman, so I think he was just excited to get on the field and play in his first college football game, and then obviously was incredibly electric and made some big things happen to become the NSAA Conference Player of the Week in his first week as a true freshman. That I don't know if that happens very often or if ever for any team. So it's a pretty exciting moment for him and a big moment for our team to be able to have that. But he was just tremendous on special teams. He was flying down on punt, making big hits. That ball had a lot of hang time, and so he was able to get down there and make some big plays and make the punt returner redirect to give our coverage time to get caught up and to shut them down for very few gains on their punt return system. And then Jay Skogerbo ended up jamming his finger, so we put Tamari on in as a kick returner. And his first kick return in his first college football game, he ended up taking it to the house. So that'll be something he'll remember for the rest of his life. And it was basically a game-changing moment, something that we needed to happen. We were just struggling offensively. Defense was on the field for way too long because we weren't helping out offensively. And so that was a big swing that we needed, and it came at the right time. So really, really excited that Tamarian was able to get in there and do what he did.
That's great to hear, Coach. Now, you guys are going to be back on the road for your next matchup. Where are you guys heading to?
We got a big game with University of Wisconsin lacrosse, and we're heading over to Wisconsin to play that game. And they're probably the top 3, top 5 for sure team in Division III. So it's going to be their first game, but they're going to be fresh and ready, and we definitely have a big challenge in front of us.
For sure, for sure. Well, everyone back in Madison and the surrounding area will be cheering you on, and we'll be excited to hear from you next week on how that match goes, Coach.
Well, I look forward to being able to get back in here and talk about the good things from that game.
For sure. All right, Coach, we'll see you next week.
All right, take care.
Thanks again for tuning into another Coach's Corner, everyone. Up this week, Trojans Cross Country will be traveling to Sioux Falls September 2nd to compete in the Augustana Twilight Meet. Women will run at 8:30 p.m. Central, and the men will run at 9 p.m. Central. Football will be traveling to Wisconsin on September 3rd to compete against the University of Wisconsin lacrosse, and volleyball will also be on the road, heading to Sioux City, Iowa to compete in the Labor Day Classic. That will be on September 2nd and 3rd. On September 2nd, they will be facing off against Northwestern College at 1 p.m. Central Time, followed up with the match against Dordt University at 5. Everyone, be sure to check out our website to stay updated on all Trojan matches, meets, games, and events at www.dsuathletics.com. And until next time, go Trojans!